on page 17. And today, instead of writing the question, I actually just drew the picture really big and gave our space to put our answer. So I'm going to read it, and then we'll go through from there. The captain of a ship has a chart to help him navigate through the islands. He must follow points. Remember, points are like dots, to show the deepest part of the channel. Now, if you don't know, a channel is deep water. If you, as a boat captain or a sailor, like I love to sail, if you don't follow markers and points really just like this in real life, you would get too close to land, quite possibly, and run aground. Running aground means it's too shallow, you hit the bottom and you get stuck. So ship captains really do have to follow coordinates like this. He must follow the points that show the deepest part of the channel. List the coordinates the captain needs to follow in the order he will encounter them. So you've been working on this for a couple days, but we're going to talk about some things that are super important. And I'm going to add it to this poster just so we can keep in mind the rules of using coordinates and points. So the first really important thing is what our lines are referred to. And I know we learned this in a previous lesson, but this is the X axis. And this one going up always is the Y axis. Now, knowing the names of this can help us when we come to actually start listing our coordinates. So when we list our coordinates, we always start with the x-axis. So we go this way across first because x comes before y in the alphabet. Another way to remember it, and this is how I've always remembered it since I was a little kid, is that if you have a little sibling or a cousin or nieces or nephews and you're around babies, you know that typically they start crawling before they can stand up and walk. So I always think, oh, I have to go this way first, like crawling along the floor before standing up and figuring out that second coordinate. So I want you to go ahead and pause me, and you're going to list the coordinates up here. There's 2 spaces, one for your X, one for your Y, for all 6 of these points. When you're ready, you can unpause and we'll go through it together. All right, if you're ready. So we start on the X. We know that my first point that I'm worried about is right here because the ship obviously has to go to this one first. So our ship is making his way to, let's see, crawl before I walk. This one lines up perfectly to the 5 and to the looks like it's right between 1 and 2. We know that means 1.5. So our first coordinate is 5, comma, 1 and 1/2. All right, so now my ship continues. And now here we are again. I need to crawl down to the bottom. And it looks like it's right between 3 and 4. See if we keep going. So that would be 3.5. Make sure it says number 2. And then if I go across to my walking area, it's directly on the 3. So I can put 3.5, comma 3. Number 3. If you needed help with this and think you can do the rest of it, go ahead at any point and pause and try to see if you're getting these right on your own. Let's see. Going up further. I have to go down to my crawling area. That hits 2. And then over. And I'm seeing a 4.5 there. All right, now my ship is turning. It's turning to the right, which is starboard if you like boating. So now I'm going back down to my crawl, to my x-axis. We've got a 4 this time, and a 6. Now you don't actually have to draw these lines. I'm drawing my lines to make sure that I'm getting it correct because I'm seeing exactly where it falls. I'm also drawing the lines so that you guys can see a little bit better. You can always just trace your hand if you prefer to do that, just like this. Go about 5.5. But to continue keeping it the same, I'm going to go all the way down to my crawl, my x-axis, 5.5, and over 7.5. And finally, my ship is getting safely back out of that harbor. We're ending with a 7.5 and a 9.